protected.
Yeah, I gotta make sure.
You don't know what they'll hear.
People are in the. People are there.
Network.
I see Jim in there. He's the best.
Jim, and I do see Jim. I see 10 people are waiting.
Okay, we need.
That's great.
That's a good
start.
That
is great. It's a good start. It's always nice to know that people want to hear what you have to say about stuff.
Absolutely. That's it.
And we got stuff to say about things.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to hit the
Indubitably we do.
Go.
Live button.
Are we? Oh, shit. We're actually being heard right now.
I know.
Oh, God damn it. All right, I'm hitting the live button.
That's why I haven't said anything bad.
Right. I'm hitting the live.
It.
All right, here we go. Here comes the music. All right. Ready? Go.
Yep. I just got to make sure that my sound is off so I don't hear us while we're talking.
Yes.
That would be distracting.
You got to do that.
I don't want to. Okay, and we're good. Hey, hi.
And we're live.
Hi, hi. And we are live. Hello. It is unbelievably April 1st. Goodness gracious. And, no fooling. Here we are, live, Dublin and Devlin.
TNT.
I'm wearing my... Yeah, jeez. And I don't know if you know this, but April is my birthday month. It's my birthday month, everybody.
Lovely.
And thank you. My birthday is the 26th
I'm gonna write
of
that
this
down.
month. Write it
Mine's
down.
the 27th of December. That's easy to remember. 26, 27.
We grow ever closer to being the same person.
I know.
It's it's a coinky dinky. So it's my birthday month, and I always try to do something good on in my birthday months. You know, like on Facebook, I create a birthday fundraiser that helps the ocean, and I don't know, because it's not like a landmark birthday. It's one of the off year birthdays, and so this year my goal is to sell as many copies of The Sound of Settling as years I've been alive, and then beyond that, it'll just be gravy or icing on the birthday cake, as we say. So, and just starting off strong. The Sound of Settling is available now as an audio book.
Oh, what? It is?
I didn't do it. I got an email from Amazon KDP. Maybe they knew I was mad at them, but they were like, "Hey, your book is now available to do the AI audiobook version."
Oh, they did.
And so,
wow. How'd it come out?
And so, well, fine, I guess. Ish. I mean, I'm not. It's like if you listen to the whole thing at the main speed, it's 12 hours. I'm not going to listen to my own thing for 12 hours. No, I'm just not going to. I listened to a little bit. I mean, I chose the voice. There's like different female voices you could use and different male voices you could use, and I was it's going to be a female, and I made sure it was a voice that sounded it's not going to sound like mine, but had like a deeper tone and just whatever. And I listened to it for a little bit, and it sounded fine. I can't guarantee it's going to pronounce everything correctly because there's a lot of early 2000s musical references and words I made up and other funny things. But the bottom line is that the people who had been asking for an audiobook, now I can offer you one.
That's that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So The Sound of Settling is available at taradublinrocks.com. Also, if you would like, as I offered yesterday, Hal was really good at giving me some space to talk about The Sound of Settling. And if you want an autographed copy, you can Venmo me $25 with your address, and then I will send you an autographed copy. I will also, if you buy my book, I will. Thank you. Yes, it will be. I will follow you back on the social medias because I want to build community around, for lots of reasons. But that's a really great way to build community. And when you've got like a significant amount of followers, as much as, if I followed back 80,000 like I have on Blue Sky, it would be hard for me to maintain. But if you follow me back directly, and then we can create a chain around a conversation, that's what I'm really looking for when it comes to this book, because it's a very specific thing rather than sharing it, with people who aren't interested, which is fine. Then you can create a conversation that's just about that, because you can do Book Sky and whatever. So anyway, just do this. Do this for my birthday if you would. It's just buy some books. It's a nice escape from politics. There's very little politics in it. It's like a smidgen because the main character supports LGBTQ. That's really it. There's no Trump mentioned in it. It's pre-social media.
A world without Trump.
It's just
beautiful.
All right, it's a nice rock and roll love story. There's lots of sexy sex in it, and Foo Fighters Easter eggs, and it's a whole lot of fun. So pick that one up. And hi everybody in the chat. We have 58 now. Hi everybody.
Yes, and they say you're kind of you got to get
tinny.
you're tinny. You're tinny.
Tara is tinny because Tara's waiting on the proper equipment. What I do know is that George is sending out the webcam. And so we confirmed this today, and once we have the webcam, then we can set up the microphone, and it'll basically look like the whole setup that Devlin has.
Yes.
So
yes.
Well, then I apologize for that, but as long
I hope
as
it's
you
not too bad.
Words,
it was.
I'm
I
trying.
don't know.
I know.
It's weird.
I know.
Excuse me, I'm choking.
I don't know. Does it help if I do it like right before we came on the air? I was like, if I do it like
Tell
this,
me.
like a TikTok influencer. Hey,
yeah.
maybe I should
let
crunch
us
some
know.
chips
Let
or
us
something.
know how it
Is it
sounds
better if
on
I
the
do
mic.
it like
I mean, on the
this? Because
chat.
I can have one. The other issue
sorry,
that I have going on today, while you're choking,
I don't know. Something went down my throat the wrong way.
Yeah. Hey, that's what Stormy said. Anyway,
it was my coffee. Okay, don't get crazy here.
Anyway, no, I'm sorry, that's blue. But there's construction going on outside my building, so.
But we can't hear it, so that's good.
But you can't hear it. Hi from Sydney, Australia.
I know, isn't that great?
Hi,
Sydney.
Keith.
I'm very jealous of
amazing.
anyone
What's it
that
like in the
comes.
future?
Who comes to our
What's it like
show?
in the future, Keith? Is it better? Is it better in the future?
Are the
President
jetpacks?
Stinky Diaper just pardoned Adam. Said even Adam set up for a witch hunt. That's funny, Miles.
What's
okay.
the lottery numbers? They are in
right. What are the lottery numbers? That's great. And who's going to win the World Series? Okay, Biff.
But I mean,
right,
what's it like? I love
when.
But when people wait, hold on. When people are in our chat
it's
and
not too different, says Jim. All right, great.
okay.
But
when they come from
like
other,
I'm selling something on TikTok. Shop.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just very jealous of those who live in a functioning democracy. So I mean,
we and it's interesting to watch the world's perspective as we collapse because
exactly
we're hyper aware of the collapse. There are plenty of us who are
it's unreal.
Who are with you. We are with our allies and going, what the fuckery is going on? We're absolutely astonished at how fast it's happening.
It's an abomination. It's a disgrace. And I know that's Trump's favorite word, but yeah.
A disgrace never should have happened.
Like nobody's ever seen.
Blah, blah.
I mean,
but this is exactly why the beloved Cory Booker is on the Senate floor right now.
Is he still going?
Filibustering, yeah.
Good for him.
He was as of right before we signed on. He was still going. He had something like 17 hours under his belt, and that's some stamina. And between Hillary did the Benghazi testimony for 11 hours, and Democrats will get up and filibuster. Democrats will filibuster. Donald Trump can't even walk between holes on a golf course.
Yeah, exactly.
The man is low. They're all low energy over there. So I appreciate. Look, Cory Booker is now a major contender to replace Chuck Schumer as minority leader.
Well, somebody
should.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's
between
Booker and between Bookoff and Bookoff. That
Bookoff.
Booker and Ossoff. Bookoff. It's the
Bookoff.
That would be the Bookoff for minority leader. John Ossoff last week shutting down John Radcliffe made me almost have a libido again. I almost woke up what has been dormant, nay dead, for several years. Because the fight really in Democrats is like, anything that wakes anybody up. But Democrats are they're like,
I'm
no
dead
more
inside,
this
so I don't
shit.
know. Yeah.
Right, but yes, I mean, I am too, and that could be a whole show in and of itself. But the point being, Democrats are fighting back in ways that the legacy media isn't telling anybody, which is why we need a Democratic press secretary. But
that's why I'm looking to see how they're reporting on Cory Booker. Are they even reporting on it?
19. Thank you, Nick. It is 19 hours now. 19. 19 for you Gen Xers. But it's proof that Democrats can hang in.
Yes.
When the going gets tough, and Cory is on the Senate floor being like, enough of this Trump Musk fuckery.
Yeah.
He's just doing it in 19 hours.
It's destruction.
And he's hitting on the Social Security, and he's hitting on the evil that Trump and Musk are doing and disappearing people from the streets and all of the violations of the First Amendment and everything that they're doing. And so the fight that we're seeing is exactly the fight that Democrats need to be doing every single day. This is the energy. And as we are watching that, we're watching the special elections that are happening. because we have a chance to we can't win back our House majority now that Elise Stefanik has to put her dumpy ass back in her seat.
She's very upset about that, which is only a good consolation prize.
Did Trump make a promise to you that he didn't keep?
Right, can you imagine that? And she was actually, they had parties for her, and she was all packed up and everything.
Bitch. She got the Ivanka face plastic surgery for nothing.
Yeah, she's another dead eyes. You notice how dead her eyes are? They all have dead eyes. Look at, they have sold whatever was left of their souls if they ever had any. There's like a psychopathy. Elise Stefanik, dead eyes. What's her face? Yep.
Nancy
the one.
Mace.
Yeah, Nancy Mace.
Noem.
And the other, what's the other one who
Alina
just tested?
Habba.
They all have dead eyes, but the one who was Tulsi Gabbard. If you watched her testimony, it is absolutely chilling when you notice her
Russian
dead eyes.
Asset. She has been programmed.
It's frightening, really.
I mean, it's unreal. I was waiting for her to break down the moon testimony. Like the Hall of Presidents or something.
The flat
technology
affect,
to keep her going.
The dead eyes. It's fucking
it has to be
chilling.
No emotion whatsoever, and that's very Russian asset. It's very. Yes. It's very, compartmentalizing what you're doing from what you're
having
doing
those
to
no
people.
Dignity. Yeah, they don't care.
Exactly.
Totally disconnected.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And between, that, so what we're seeing is, is all of this convergence at the same time. And it's astonishing that they haven't brought in Punch-Drunk Pete Kegstand.
Oh, God.
That's his new name.
I
like calling him Kegstand now. But they and with his white nationalist tattoos, I don't know why he hasn't been brought in before the Senate Intelligence Committee yet.
Well, because it's run by Republicans, I mean, that's why.
But they got Tulsi and Ratcliffe in there.
But they were already scheduled for some other reason. Yeah,
but they still showed up and they still came back.
That's true.
They need to, and they also need to subpoena Elon because he committed another felony in Wisconsin.
Protected him. You know that. I mean, they protected him. They wanted to bring him in, but he's their boss, so. It's just, they have to keep pushing. They're so disgusting.
He committed a felony in Wisconsin. Yeah, they have to bring him in. We'll get back to him in a second.
Different rules. Yeah.
Right. But as far as Signalgate goes, what we're seeing right now is something we talked about last week, which is how MAGA uses language to manipulate the conversation and protect Trump and keep the truth from being the focus of what everyone's talking about. And we're seeing that right now with Signalgate. Because they're trying to move the goalposts away by creating this conversation around Trump running for a third term. That's a big thing right now.
Yeah, distraction.
Right? Distraction.
Right?
Don't fall for it.
Who cares? It's like, we're not there.
He can't do it. He can't
do it.
Okay? Constitution says so. They're not changing the 22nd
Amendment
anytime soon. But
we all know he's an authoritarian. He said he wants to be a dictator. This is not news. Let's focus on on all the destruction they're doing, right?
We need to focus on now, not the future. And by the way, if they change the 22nd Amendment, then Obama can run for a third term. Yes. And they don't want that because he would lose so spectacularly if that happened. Yep. And that we need to stay away from whataboutisms and what if-isms right now. We need to deal with what is happening right now.
What's falling into the trap, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And so right now, what they're trying to do is, and Elon can help them because he owns the social media, is to use their language and their projection language and their distraction tactics to steamroll over the truth of Signalgate, which we cannot allow. Right. This is the biggest scandal.
Trying. Yeah.
It's a humongous scandal. And the fact that there has been a threat to our national security should bother everybody regardless of how they vote.
Yep.
And this is something that I talked about Hal with yesterday, in that this is now our national security is not a Republican or Democratic issue. It's an American issue. Right. It's a human issue. We are all human beings, regardless of what you think of your political opponent or someone who disagrees with you politically. We are all human beings coexisting in the same space, on the same land, breathing the same air, drinking the same water. You do not want to be threatened. Your average MAGA person. I'm not talking about your elected MAGA person.
You would think
that they would be concerned about their personal security as well as their future, their Social Security, their Medicaid, their SNAP benefits, all their healthcare, all of these things. So we've also talked about how the cult is fine with dying for him. But then there are segments who are not. We are seeing some people breaking off, complaining. The ones who were showing up angry at the town halls, for example.
Right.
That's
they're all plants.
Example of
they're paid. They're just plants and protesters for that the Democrat Party is stirring up. Oh God, I hate them on so many levels. I'm having a day.
I'm having a day too. I'm frustrated and tired, and they're doing the construction outside, and my cats woke me up before 5 o'clock, and it's all of the thing. I won't be able to take a nap.
Right.
No
anxiety.
No sleep. It's fine. But then you can just channel this into something productive.
I just can't believe
which is what we're doing
sometimes. When you spell it out, it seems so beyond belief. When you just tick it off, right? That how far we've fallen in such a short period of time. But everything that they have ever, inflicted on us is just a fucking lie.
It's an abomination.
It is. It's the hypocrisy, the different rules. Oh God.
All right. Jim mentions how tomorrow is Liberation Day.
Oh yes.
Liberation from what?
From I guess a decent
free fucking country.
Liberation from a decent life, a decent middle class life. So
Jim, what is Trump saying we're being liberated from?
We're liberating.
Because if it's from him, then great.
What?
Is he going to go back to Mar-a-Lago? Well, the only way I'm going to feel liberated is if he gets the fuck out of the White House.
Right.
We're only free if Democrats are running this country, because Democrats deliver everything Republicans remove.
That's right. Well, they hate everything. Exactly. Well, they hate unity.
Miles, that's not funny, Miles.
I know. That's April Fool's.
That's not funny.
That's an April Fool's there.
He
wrote,
that doesn't work
Trump is resigning, for those who can't see the chat.
No,
you almost had me there, Miles.
Nope,
you almost had me.
It's the 800 exclamation points that did that.
Right.
I was like, nope.
Yeah, but then we get
happening.
J.D. Vance. I mean, he's a demon
nobody
too.
Wants that.
They're all
demons.
He is a demon.
See, and this is why we can refocus on the special election at hand.
Right.
Because we still can gain 2 seats, and those 2 seats are in Florida.
That'd be amazing.
And I don't care what anybody says. The residents of the districts of those 2 seats, Mike Waltz, who is fully responsible for Signalgate, and Matt Gaetz, who's fully responsible for raping and sex trafficking teenage girls. So, hey, Florida, wouldn't you like a slightly better reputation?
You would think.
Because it's bad enough what Ron DeSantis is doing to the children of Florida.
Well, they hate, it's genders and all. They're worried about the bathroom. They're pee-pees in the bathroom. That's what it's just all bullshit. That's what they're worried about.
It's all smokescreen crap and distraction and
they fall
it's
for
just
it.
Ridiculous. But we did see during the 2024 election, we saw a record number of Democrats turning out in Florida to vote for Kamala Harris.
Yes.
We saw the golf cart parade of Democrats in the villages. So
right.
when we had a great Democratic turnout there, we had a lot of Democratic turnout in places that you don't normally see it. We're seeing it now in the special elections. Democrats are overturning red seats in districts that went for Trump, for judges in other districts in Louisiana. Going for that went to Trump in the last election that have been traditionally red for ages, and right now the battle in Wisconsin is so real that and this just tells you if Elon Musk has to go commit election fraud in front of everybody to buy votes, that they're scared of Susan Crawford in Wisconsin. And what's interesting, and Hal pointed this out yesterday also, is that everybody knows the name of the MAGA judge, but nobody knows Susan Crawford's name. I don't remember the MAGA judge's name. See, I do the opposite. I make sure I know the Democrat's name, and I don't try to elevate the Republicans.
Right, but he's saying that this is about the future of humanity and civilization. Now, I have to ask the maggots, your average Joe maggot, how much do you have to hate yourself or others to fall for that grift from a billionaire who couldn't give a shit about you? Think he's up there because he's saving humanity? This greed-centered ghost of the Gilded Age? I mean, he's a disgusting sociopath. And I mean, if they're such
and
masters,
so is everyone around
yes,
them.
but if they're such masters of the universe, why do you need to rig the game all the time? Why do you need you need to be able to have, like, pour your corporate waste into our commons and treat people like shit? You can't pay people living wages. You just can't, provide a standard of living, or excuse me, see, there goes my throat. Make sure that, you can't live up to the shining city on a hill standards, right? I mean, but you're such a genius, right? You're such
he's not.
Innovator.
Trump is not a genius.
No, they're not.
And Musk is not a genius.
That's what I'm saying. They're so stupid.
They're two sides of the same
yes,
Bitcoin
they're grifters.
Scam, okay?
They're grifters.
Born into grift, born into racism,
and Nazis
born into
too.
Hatred.
Nazis.
May Musk
For real.
is a huge Nazi.
He is.
Nazi.
He was raised by Nazi.
Yes. Right.
His mother was a Nazi.
Right.
Ahead.
And his father's a Nazi. South Africa, he was born during apartheid. He believes in apartheid.
He
wants to create an apartheid state in Israel, which is already pretty much an apartheid state. They want to bulldoze Gaza and turn it into Atlantic City of the Middle East. They're doing all of the things that they were saying that Genocide Joe.
Right, and let me just bring some receipts here.
So freaking disgusting. But it's a really good. This is a really good, transition into what's going on with Musk right now and how he's so cooked. He's so ketamine cooked, and nothing about him makes sense. But one of the things that you were touching on, one of the things that the Nazis believe in is, the Great Replacement theory, which is, replacing. They thought that Jews want to replace them. No, they want to replace everybody and make it a white paradise, right?
That's it.
So one of the things that I repeatedly point out, the Charlottesville March, when they were chanting, Jews will not replace us, what they were really saying is, we will replace the Jews.
Yes.
They are looking to replace anybody who isn't all white and all alt-right. So that's what they're trying to do. So if they can kill off as many people like us who are different speak out or push back, and then they can force birth however possible, an army of obedient white children that they can force then to work to death as a replacement for all of the brown people they've deported in Florida, Ron DeSantis, so that he wants there to be a new law that kids as young as 14 can go to work and work the overnight shift before they have to go to school the next day.
And it's not going to be Elon Musk's kids who have to do that. It's all the poor.
No, but it's also
where we're going back to the dark ages. That's what they want.
Exactly. And as Hal told us yesterday, that was also a way for them to do child sex trafficking back in the day, and that's why child labor laws were put on the books in the first place, because children were being disappeared into sex slavery in the middle of the night because they were 13 and working in the fields or working in an inventory stock room or something like that. And everything that Democrats do to protect children, Republicans immediately try to take away. They are not the pro-life party in any way, and they're the pro-forced birth party, if anything else.
Pro-control.
And Elon Musk is proof. I mean, how you and I shared the same disgust and loathing for Elon Musk's, just as a waste of DNA, and how the story about his most recent baby mama, Ashley St. Clair. It's like, well, if you're going to be a Nazi baby factory, don't be so shocked when he treats you like shit afterwards.
Well, I mean, just look at the names that he gave his kids.
Those aren't names, they're formulas.
Exy. That's the girl. He has two girl children, whatever, baby girls, not babies. I don't know how fucking old they are. But what was it? 11 of his 14 kids are IVF. Because he's got a botched penis, and that was another thing I discussed.
That?
Yeah,
who wants a botched
but
penis?
I mean, like,
Nobody,
who allows somebody to, like, if you're a woman having a baby and you're first of all, your choice in mate is something to be discussed with your therapist, but to have a baby with somebody that wants to name the kid something that is impronounceable or unpronounceable, and it's all X. Everything is X with this asshole, which is so annoying because he's such a basic bitch. X. Look at me. I'm an X. I'm jumping like an X. Now your name is X, and then he has the girl. The girl her name is Xy. I mean, it's like you're a fucking loser.
He thought of it when he was on X. That's why.
But I mean, it's like it's not
balls, and he's like everything. Yes, is X.
It's the sign of somebody who is underwhelming, not clever or innovated.
So gross.
X. I'm gonna change this to X. This is SpaceX. This is X. Look at me. I'm an X. I mean,
I'm surprised that it's not Tesla X. Look, that doesn't sound right.
Look at me.
But there he is.
I'm an X. That's what he's doing when he jumps.
You're not.
He's making an X,
dude. I mean, he looks like about 100 different aliens are about to spring forth from his chest cage. You know those pictures of him on that yacht with no shirt on and his upper body? Looks like that there's a metal cage inside of him or something.
He hates himself somewhere. He knows he's a fraud. It's like Trump. Yes. It's like Trump. Right? That's why he's he pushes back on.
Really,
I hit back. You know what?
Yeah, you hit. Fuck you.
Yeah, I hit back 10 times higher. This is what his kid's named. Like, could you imagine?
What does that equal?
It's just
what
the
year
hell is this?
That? Is that a Roman year?
What does it mean?
Is that 1944?
Right.
I don't know.
It's absolutely it's abuse. It's child abuse. That's what it is. You know,
that poor kid's never gonna find their name on a souvenir, license plate at Disneyland.
Oh, exactly. I'm just looking at the other kid. One is called Technocrat. Something. I mean, it's right. You fucking abusive bastard.
Well, I need my children to be assholes just like I am.
Yeah.
Why?
It's malignant narcissism. Go ahead.
By the time we're on the 14th child with, what is it, the 5th baby mama, doesn't his track record speak for itself at this point?
He's that kid's a prop. That's all.
He's a deadbeat dad too, where he doesn't pay child support. He has all the money in the world.
Wow.
And he paraded around that one kid for a while, but then he's probably going to parade. And then he named his transgender daughter last week.
What a piece of shit he is.
His son, Xavier, another X name, he said his son died. No, he didn't. You have a transgender daughter. You have a daughter who is alive and well, and her name is Vivian, and you could be a champ, and it's Trans Visibility Day. And if you can't be an ally, then you need to
what a nightmare
re-educate
he is.
Yourself. You need to re-educate yourself.
Imagine how bad you are as a human being. Like you're a billionaire, but your kids want nothing to do with you.
Nothing.
You know,
nothing.
They It's not him. They don't want nothing to do with him. You know, because he's a disgusting person. And I was telling you before, and people who watch my show, we talked about this on my show. Which another thing that really annoys me about the corporate media, they never talk about Musk's whole video game scam that he ran. I mean, this guy's supposed to be a genius, right? But he paid ringers to play Path of Exile 2 and some other game, Diablo. I don't know these games, but they're big. Yeah, Diablo. And he paid people. So he was going around saying, I'm in the top 10 in the whole world of Diablo and Path of Exile.
It's the same thing that Trump does.
It's like a fucking exactly. Like this fake ass. And then when he had to play, for some reason, I don't know why he ended up doing it, because he probably knew he was going to get caught. He played in a live stream. Supposedly, right? But everybody was talking about him because, look, Elon is number 3 in the whole world of Path of Exile. And then he played on Discord, and the people who actually play the game were like, something's not right here.
They're like, this guy sucks.
Yes! He didn't know what to do. He was playing like somebody who is a novice who doesn't play the game. And they posted about it on Twitter. And he blocked them. He deleted their accounts and things.
Of course he did.
And finally, it didn't go away, like Signalgate. And he had to admit it. Oh, well, yeah, I did. I cheated. But that's against...
Nobody cares.
Yeah, nothing happened, though. But that's against the terms of service of the game. Nothing happened. He could have been kicked off, but of course nothing happened. But the fact that the media does not talk about this is malpractice, in my opinion, because that says everything about who the fuck he is. He is so thirsty for these like kids. I don't even know who plays the game. I'm sure adults play it too. But for people like gamers to be like, you're so cool. What is wrong with you? Yeah. It's a fucking he's demented. Yeah.
You're striving to be the king of the dipshits. That's not really lofty ambitions, right?
I mean, no offense to video gamers. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure they're nice.
Straight up very cool gamers. But my older son, my older son isn't like a super gamer, but he knows who the gamers are and he has friends who are. They're good kids, you know, they're not
I mean, I played games Nazis, too, so
you know,
but I mean, it's
just, and there are a lot of women in the gaming world.
Yes, but think about how he cheats.
Is fake.
Yes, and how he cheats himself. I mean, it's really over his head. It's the same thing about Trump's education. That says everything about him. He doesn't know where to put the apostrophe or on YOU apostrophe RE. You know what I mean? But he supposedly had the best education in the world. Which goes to show you, but his niece said no, he paid people to take his test, to go to his lectures, to write the papers.
Of course he did.
So, because they just want the paper that says, look at me. But, I mean, the reason you would play a game, maybe stress release or a challenge, community, or whatever the fuck.
Right.
You have these reasons to play, but he cheats himself, and there's no what accomplishment is it to be a liar, to be a fraud? No, you know what I mean? It's like
for him
beyond.
Specifically nothing,
right?
Because his money insulates him and always has insulated him. And it's the same thing with Trump. Money and privilege has insulated him his entire life so that he's never faced any real consequences. Even when he gets arrested 4 times in 1 year and has a mugshot, they manage to turn around into a thing to brag about. And
right.
They slap his mugshot on a T-shirt and call him a political martyr or whatever.
His mugshot is hanging in the White House now. I hope you know.
It's unreal.
A fucking abomination.
How abnormal and how abnormal the normalization became, right? Another reason to have a Democratic press secretary, because every single day they need to point out this is wrong and this is wrong and this is abnormal and this is terrible and this should have happened already. One of the things that we talked about right before the show is how Musk should have already lost his government contracts, and that should be a consequence. Specifically, he committed election fraud in Wisconsin, was warned. We will arrest you if you do this. And then he was like, okay. And then he did it and no one arrested him.
Right.
So why would he think he gets to walk around consequence-free?
Yeah.
Well, because everyone keeps letting him get away with shit. Subpoena him. Drag his ass before any House any House committee, any Senate committee. Please get anybody to get any of this on the record already. And fold in all of the election shit also. Because Clarice Starlink did hinky shit. And that's how we're here.
Yes.
There is I don't even want, please don't make me go back into it because I don't have it in me to do it. But what I do know is that there have been real impact on what people are doing, pushing back against what we've been seeing in all different forms of protests. Like Amazon sales are down, Target sales are down. But Costco sales are up because Costco is in support of DEI practices.
That's good, yeah.
And this Saturday, there is another protest nationwide, the hands-off protest. Keep your Nazi hands off our Social Security, you fucking Nazi.
Yeah,
and again, if he was a melanated South African billionaire, there's no way he would be best friends with Trump and Putin, Like, there's no way MAGA would be okay with a black man putting his hands on their private information no matter how much money he had.
Right, but he wouldn't be, or she wouldn't be destroying the government, because that's what they're doing.
No, of course
they're destroying America.
But I'm just saying. I'm just saying they will.
Yeah, but
what they do is, and how they manipulate language. J.D. Vance today on his own Twitter used the phrase illegal aliens, and I hate that phrase so much because first of all, no human is illegal, right?
Well,
no human
that's
is
way
illegal.
over their heads. That's
right.
Yeah,
it's not the person who is illegal; it is an act that perhaps they committed that is illegal,
right.
and you don't even know that.
It's not a felony. I mean, coming into the country illegally is a civil offense. It's not a It's not a it's not a criminal offense. It's a civil offense, but whatever.
But the way they manipulate language and the way they omit things to suit their arguments, like when they bring up Laken Riley to use a dead white girl as a political prop, what they conveniently leave out, but what they leave out from that story is the person who killed her was from Venezuela. And at the very end of his first term, one of the final things Trump did was sign an order extending a stay for Venezuelan migrants who were here in the United States. So the person the Venezuelan who killed Laken Riley was probably set to have been returned to Venezuela, but then Trump extended that because he wanted to make nice with the government of Venezuela for future, because he knew he was going to do this again, right? And if you make good with a shady government, that when you need them, they're going to help you too. So he extended the stay for those Venezuelan migrants. They were allowed to stay longer, and one of them was the one who killed Laken Riley. Nobody ever talks about that, though.
Yeah,
they just say an illegal alien, Biden, blah, blah, blah. And when J.D. Vance is tweeting today, we're being invaded. There is an invasion at the border. No, there fucking is not.
No, there isn't.
We are not being invaded.
I thought he buttoned up the border. I thought it was as secure as nobody's ever seen. I fucking hate that. Oh God, nobody's ever seen.
No, and then you see disgusting Kristi Noem staging that photo op in one of the scariest prisons, wearing a $60,000 Rolex and her white titty T-shirt to show off her Trumpy boobs.
She is. Yeah, I mean
every single one of those bitches who gets the Trump Ivanka face surgery and is stuck with that. And
it's not going to age well.
Really?
And it reminded me of I have a picture here. It reminded me of this, right? Like when Himmler went and did the tours of the concentration camps. That's what Kristi Noem reminded me of. Taking photographs in front of.
It's a completely fair comparison.
Yeah. So
and they're disappearing. Residents who've had a green card forever.
It's
who
disgusting.
Are here legally.
Well, they just deported a citizen to El Salvador. Did you?
They did what? What was their horrific crime against the United States?
I think he was just brown. And let me look this up.
Was he speaking while brown? Is that what happened?
And they're like, this is.
He
was saying he's a citizen. Yeah. Let me see. I thought I just saw
how long before they come get us? I mean, I'm a Jew.
Right.
So, how long?
Right.
How long before? And
Not
it's
long.
funny. Elon keeps tweeting, people who criticize the Trump administration will be suspended. Fuck the Trump administration. I say it every day.
From Twitter?
From Twitter.
Oh.
Yeah, bullshit.
Bullshit,
you're going to suspend anybody. You know why?
He's a fucking free speech absolutist, though, I thought.
When they say it, it's fine. If we say it, then no. But the other thing that he had to do, he had to sell X to his own AI, his X-AI company. Because Twitter's net worth is down like 70% or something, and the only way to salvage it and make his investors happy was to get XAI to buy Twitter. And so it's just everything he touches dies.
Yeah. Like Trump.
I mean, now
Trump.
is when Mark Cuban should sweep in right now and buy Twitter. I've been trying to get Mark Cuban to buy Twitter forever.
I would love that. But he's probably not for a bad investment, though, And I can also
you turn that one around. You can turn that around real fast.
That's true. But I mean, you think about when the board sold Twitter to this Nazi, and this is where when they write the history of this time,
if they're allowed,
right? People like what's his name, Woodward and Burns, Woodward, Bob Woodward. They're not gonna come out in a good light. And same for the board who sold Twitter to this Nazi. They did it for their own personal pocketbooks. That's why.
It's so disgusting.
I mean, and there's no one ever talks about that. No one ever says, who are these people? They sold out their country to a disgusting Nazi, and look what he's done with it.
And
they should be ashamed. They should be ashamed. Right, for money. Everything. Money.
We've said this repeatedly. Do I want more money? Sure. You know, like I would love for more people to buy my book, specifically people in Hollywood, to option this and get a proper publishing deal. Right. Or for you know, for us to get, we're looking for sponsors right now for the show so we can generate some serious dollars. So if anybody out there in the chat
make the show
is
better.
connected
Look, we don't even have a microphone for Dublin over here. You know what it's like trying to get a microphone?
We're getting it. But what we're saying is, you know, like, nobody, like Nick just said, nobody needs $1 billion.
No.
If you've got $1 billion, I feel like it's your responsibility to do good stuff with your $1 billion. Yeah. Like Taylor Swift. True. She's an example of someone who does good stuff with her billions of dollars. And as a Swiftie over 50, I'm going to share that, hey, Jim, thanks for $2. $2.
You got $2, Jim. Oh, $2.
Thank you, Jim. But like Taylor Swift, when she was on tour, she donated enough money in every city where she was on tour. She donated enough money to food banks in every city to feed people for 3 years.
It's great. It's
3 years.
But I've always
gave bonuses to her people. And there's, I mean, I could spend a whole show talking about what we could do with just $1 billion.
Right.
Let alone,
exactly.
You know,
but
Elon $1 billion.
This is the problem with our media. I know I always go back to it, but they've never, even for years and years, you know, I guess we could count ourselves lucky that we've never had a, General Zod try to take over America, and now as we do now. Right, yeah. but I guess we just by sheer luck that none of them have tried anything like this until now. But I have been screaming about it for years that billionaires shouldn't exist. Like, for example, Stephen Colbert, who is great, but every year he would give a lot of money to his local. The elementary school that he went to that was struggling, and they'd have a big thing, a big celebration, and the media would report it. Oh, what a great guy! But that is a failure of our system. If we gotta live or die under the good graces of our betters, begging them to trickle on us, that's not the system that this country was supposed to be, founded on. And that's the system that the founders rebelled against, where you find a lord and maybe they'll build a hospital, or maybe they'll, build a school for your dumb little, for your whatever, which they, you know what I mean? Like maybe they'll buy you a book, or you can do this. Or if you find someone who's a benevolent benefactor, what should happen ideally is, we pay our taxes and it gets distributed equitably amongst the services that make this country function and help us all grab or have a chance at a decent middle class life. But you know what I mean? We shouldn't have to be hoping that somebody, like what really pisses me off, for example, GoFundMe. Over half of the GoFundMe campaigns on there are for medical emergencies, medical care. And that is an effing disgrace. And I think we talked about it on a couple of shows ago about the finance officer from United Healthcare started a GoFundMe for his daughter who was diagnosed with leukemia. Without a hint of irony, without any self-assessment, like, wow, this is fucked up. That's what he does. And the people are like, oh, poor thing, here's $10. That should last you a day and I don't know, not even, And it's not, the story should be how we have failed each other, how this is a disgrace, how billionaires shouldn't exist. And here's another reason why. And that's why the fucking Democrats piss me off, because they don't, that's how you have to present it. It's not, this is the system that the founders rebelled against, not the one that we're not a shining city on a hill that we're trying to create. So,
well, hence my Schoolhouse Rock shirt, to just kind of remind everybody to go back to the basics. Right. And I wish more Republicans would go back to the basics and be reminded of why this country was founded in the first place, what our founders fought for, what the Constitution stands for, why all of the amendments of the Constitution matter. Why and it all comes down to, a country needs to progress forward in the right way. And that was a big push from both Obama campaigns. was all about forward. And the same thing with Hillary as well, onward, right? It's all about continue to move the country forward. We're supposed to be leading, not destroying, right? We're supposed to be setting an example for the rest of the world on here's how you create an open and democratic society where people can coexist.
Yes.
Even if they have a disagreement in the fundamentals, they still believe in giving each other that space to exist, right?
Yeah,
so
you would hope, you know, and that's how you have to cultivate through education, right, and
and that's how we started, right? And that's how, you know, you're allowed to disagree, but there should be some civility in your disagreement, and the underlying understanding is the reason you're so passionate, and the reason you're both fighting so strongly is because you care so very much about the livelihoods of not just your family, but every single family in this country, every single person in this country. And so and I'm not saying that Democrats love their families more than Republicans love their families, but I will say that Democrats care more about people outside of their own families than Republicans do. We just are the more empathetic. And Nick had asked in the chat, Taylor Swift proves that nobody needs $1 billion. Why do Swifties scare the shit out of MAGAs? Yeah. And there's a bunch of different theories, beginning with they just are loving and joyful, and MAGA hates love and joy.
And women with self
women who are
autonomy,
financially independent, right? A financially independent woman who then again built her career on heartbreak.
For not having a kid, right? They attacked her for not being married,
she's only 34,
and not having children. Yeah, that was Katie
whatever,
Britt, right? Yeah, they're just fuck them.
But I think for the most part, I think from the outset they assumed that Taylor Swift was one of theirs, because she started as a country artist with her fabricated Southern accent, because she was born in Pennsylvania. But she started as a country artist. She's blonde. She's in Nashville. She sings country music. So you assume she's Christian, which you assume means she's a Republican.
Right.
And she is not. She does identify as a Christian, but she does not identify as a Republican. And she proved that in the 2018 documentary, Miss Americana.
Right.
Because that's when she started speaking out politically. And so that's when they turned on her, when they found out that she was not a Trump person. Because her silence for too long, she understood that by being silent, people thought she was pro-Trump.
Well, they put words in her mouth. Isn't that what Trump did?
And she couldn't stand it anymore. And she also was really angry because she does live in Tennessee. She was very upset about Marsha Blackburn. And that was the other reason why she spoke out politically, because of the ways that Marsha Blackburn was going to set women back. She wanted to repeal the Violence Against Women Act. So just for that, and Taylor Swift was personally impacted by that because of the stalking laws that are within the Violence Against Women Act that protect women like her.
And so the reason for abusers to get guns and things like that, it's beyond.
Right, and so the reason she threatens MAGA, it's not really that much that she threatens them, is that they're mad that they thought that she was one of them and they're not, and she's not. So they bully. That's what they do to anybody they can't get on their side for whatever reason. And so here's a perfect example of how it's rules for thee, not for me. Remember when our wonderful ally, President of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, was in the Oval Office and he was mocked for not wearing a suit? Kid Rock.
Yes.
Kid Rock in the Oval Office looking like the bastard child of every bad burlesque dancer off the strip in Vegas, and in a nudie suit.
It's such an abomination.
Can you have a moment to Google it and pull it up?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
And the excuse is, of course, well, he's a rock star.
Oh,
he's a skis.
How dare you?
Grandpa Bob besmirching the Oval. I mean, look at that. That's what he wore in the Oval Office.
What a disgrace.
What a fucking douche. He's like if a Bud Light can could become self-aware and then get burnt on a barbecue, then shot, and then turned into that.
He's not even
good.
So gross. I mean, he's so disgusting.
And he's dating Lauren Boebert, I hear. So they can
what?
Just Yep. Is that not perfect, though?
Oh, it is.
Is that not the perfect MAGA skank skis?
Right. Well, she is a skank. That's a good word for her. Skank.
Right, skanky, skeezy, skag.
Has no, just jerking off some guy in a theater filled with kids and families.
Gross.
Her vaping.
Oldest son has already been
it's like
has legal problems. She's a grandmother at 36.
At 30,
nice family.
Oh
nice
God!
Family, Granny, with fucking Grand Canyon.
Disgusting.
So it's perfect though, and I imagine that they both just smell like the worst bar room floor in Alabama all the time. All the time, because that's probably where they do it all the time. Because he owns a bar in Detroit. He owns a bar in Detroit, but it might as well be.
Vile.
Look at him. Ball with the ball, the bang, the bang, bang.
America. A Gulf of America. Douche. I mean, they hate America. This is what drives me nuts. This is all performance. So
why is it okay for him to turn the American flag into that? But,
right, and it's against
Democrats
the flag codes too. But the fact that they're just so. I love the stars and the eagles and everything, but the actual substance of patriotism is beyond them. They hate that. That's woke.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, Brian Glenn, Mr. Puffy-eyed alcoholic, tweeted justification for that because he's a quote-unquote rock star. It's on his Twitter.
Oh, he's a rock star. Oh, that's it.
He gets that's like a rock star tuxedo essentially. And no, it isn't. He's fucking white trash. He does not belong in the Oval Office, and he probably like smoked a joint in the bathroom before he went out
disgusting.
There. Willie Nelson smoked a joint on the roof of the White House with a car. I think it was Billy Carter or Jimmy Carter cousin or somebody.
Here's a picture of
normal people. Wearing a hat in the Oval Office is a good point too. That's very disrespectful.
That's true. But here's Winston Churchill, who came to the United States before the United States was joined in the war against the Nazis. But he came here to do what Zelensky was doing,
and he dressed appropriately.
To get funding and help from the American people so they could beat back this fascist dictatorship that was trying to turn England into trying to swallow it up like every other country that it was.
It's just the dumbest shit.
The fact that he's wearing it to remind the American people, I'm not here for a cocktail party. I'm not here
for a state dinner.
Exactly. I'm here because my country is at war. That's why. But these effing Republicans, what the fuck do they are just so tedious with every bit of faux rage, from one faux rage to another. And we can find
so we don't pay attention to the bad shit.
Right, the hypocrisy. Like, for example, not really faux rage, but just their lies. That's why Rachel Maddow always says, look at what they do, not what they say.
Right.
So when I watched that Elon Musk being, and the supposed Doge people who were all over the age of 19. Of course, they brought all these fucking assholes in there that weren't the Doge. I mean, where's Big Balls? Where's the 18-year-old? Where's, So, but
the Department
it was
of gazillionaire embezzlers.
Exactly. Exactly.
Call it that.
That's what it is. The fake Department of Gazillionaire Embezzlers. So
not a real department.
But
it's not a real department.
They were asking. Of course, they were all impressed. Oh, you're a rocket scientist, and which has nothing to do with running a government. So that doesn't make you an expert in all things, you baboons. But one of these guys said, but one of these guys said. We want to make government like the Apple Store. Well, ain't that fucking beautiful? What a great,
what does that mean?
Serve you like at the Apple Store, where you go in, they're like, "Can I help you?" That's great, but you don't do that by firing people and destroying everything. So look at what they do, not what they say. If they were literally trying, if that was the result, wonderful. But it's not. They are destroying, and they just fired. There was today another bloodbath at the at Health and Human Services and the CDC and the NIH. How is that making us safer, or from the Apple Store? What the fuck?
What does that even mean?
I know.
Is that part of the liberation? To turn us into the Apple
Apple
Store. And what does that even mean?
It means nothing. That's what I mean.
Store?
Well, it means you know, like the Apple Store. Oh, which Apple Store do I want to go to? The one on Greenpoint or the one over here? You know, you have options, but that's not what they're doing.
Which presidency do I want to buy?
Closing things down.
32?
Yeah, they're closing down facilities. They are making it so it can't function. When judges say you have to not fire these people and you got to give their jobs back, they show up to work, all the computers and desks are gone. How is that the fucking Apple Store, you effing disgusting grifters? Because it's a lie.
It's not a fair comparison.
No, I know.
You cannot run the U.S. government like a business.
Well, that's a whole other
thing.
Proved
that.
Yep.
But he proved that his first term.
I know.
So,
but
that's
this
why
is
he had
another
to cheat this
exactly.
time. So,
exactly.
You know, there's a reason he's not allowed to run a business in New York anymore. It's because he was convicted of 34 fraud
That's
counts.
right. That's right. And I mean,
counts.
Everything about them is bullshit, from trickle down to running government like a business, like that tax breaks for the billionaires pay for themselves. If you funnel all the money to the top, everyone is living in prosperity. All of the entire ideology of the right is bullshit. It's been proven wrong again and again. Yeah. But, you know, let them eat hate. That's what
they have pretty much nothing else.
That's it.
Because they certainly don't care about the truth.
No.
They certainly don't care about facts.
Right.
And they certainly don't care about anything except, we own the libs.
Yes.
Which you did not.
Own the libs.
You know what you own? You own this failure.
Uh-huh.
That's what you get to
No,
own.
well, they won't own it.
Duke.
The party of Duke is cute. But the party of personal responsibility only sticks to that motto when they're trying to deny someone health care.
They don't never take responsibility. Yeah. And this goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, as we have about 6 minutes left.
Yes.
We cannot stop talking about Signalgate, because that's what they want us to do.
Right.
Signalgate needs to stay at the top of every trending thing on every social media app. It needs to be leading every news program still.
Democrats
it's an egregious, egregious breach of our national
security. It's an embarrassment.
Needs to be reiterated over and over and over again. And if you need a scapegoat, his name is Mike Waltz, because Jeffrey Goldberg supplied the screenshot that said, Mike Waltz added you.
Yes.
Mike Waltz added
They're
you.
just
Mike
not
Waltz.
Fit. They're not capable.
It's not anybody's fault. It's but Mike Waltz's, right?
Yeah.
And here's something. And if anybody in the chat today was hanging out with Hal yesterday, you'll have witnessed this. But I stumped Hal Sparks.
Oh, wow.
Normally Hal knows everything about everything ahead of time, and you can't get anything past Hal. And if you make a comment, he's like, well, actually, here's the history of this thing that nobody knows about me. So, but it's great. But what he didn't know, because everything is, ridiculous, one of the issues from Signalgate is I was like, how did you accidentally add Jeffrey Goldberg? How did you accidentally add him to this chat? Why was this number in your phone? Jeffrey Goldberg has the same initials, JG, as Jennifer Griffin, the Fox News national security correspondent. She was the one that was supposed to be added.
She doesn't have top secret security clearance.
No, she does not, and neither does Joe Kent, who is in the chat, but he's not confirmed yet. But look at it alphabetically. Jeffrey, Jennifer, JG. Man has fat sausage hands. We've all fuckers. Accidentally sent the wrong text or hit the wrong emoji or whatever. He added the wrong
What a
JG.
Baboon. What a filthy baboon.
And Jennifer Griffin also filed a 100% factual report on what has happened with Signalgate, placing the blame in the right places. It ran on Fox News. It was front sold.
Right. She's sometimes
been
not
on Fox News for a long time.
Yeah. She's
not always
right.
Sometimes she's more foxy than other times. This was a time she was not foxy. She was truthful and filed this report.
Wow.
And Hal's like pulling it all over.
But that's just beyond, right?
And it's beyond that nobody knows that, but Brett Baier, he's like, here's Jennifer Griffin with the latest on the Signal thing. And then she's like, well, this happened and this happened and this is how it happened and this happened. And Brett Baier comes back and he's like, Jennifer Griffin from Washington, and moves on. Says nothing, no follow-up, no questions, no parsing what he just heard.
Right, exactly.
Nothing, keeps rolling through. That is how you know they're scared.
Right. But I wonder, Right. But saying that about Jennifer Griffin, how many times was she successfully added to one of their chats? Because this is not the first time. That's
the other thing we talked about, because it's not just Jeffrey Goldberg was in that chat. He had access to the week-long chat. So he had access to stuff that was said before he joined. And then it opens the question to how many other chats do you have going that you shouldn't have? And it's already been reported. I think Politico, not Politico, ProPublica reported that they already found them.
Wow.
They already found the other chats, or they already found numbers and personal emails and information.
Yeah, because it's not the first time that this is how they operate. This is how they are unfit, and they don't give a shit. I mean, about the rules of government, about records, it's everything is different rules for them. They're just smashing and grabbing and want no record of it. So
it's true. Hey, that's fun. That was an hour. Right,
I can't believe it. It goes by so fast.
This is how we do it. So, everybody, we will be back on Thursday, same tower time, same tower channel. By then, we'll know what happened in Wisconsin and Florida. For the rest of today, spend your free time boosting Susan Crawford, Gay Valamont, and Josh Wild. These are the 3 names you need to have going all day today, especially if you're in Wisconsin and Florida, or you have friends in Wisconsin and Florida. Just get it out there, because we need those people in those seats.
Yes, we do.
Also, buy my book. My book.
Sign up
for our Substacks.
Yes.
Do all the things and support independent media, and we will see you back here on Thursday.
All right, guys. We stick together. We win. We will both.
When we
see you on Thursday.
On Thursday.